5:42 again. It is Karen August sitting in for Business 911. She's a manager of member services at the Greater Peterborough Chamber of Commerce. And on September 22nd, you're having a fraud-proofing seminar with some very important guests. How are you going to steer this seminar?
It's essentially a 2-hour training session for fraud awareness. RBC is sending their senior manager of fraud strategy. We've got the Peterborough Police. We have Michael Eatson of Volkswagen, who's going to share his "It Happened to Me" story. And Microage is going to be talking to us about data protection. It happened to a guy at Volkswagen. So yes. It can happen to anyone then, right? It certainly can. All right. So what are we going to be focusing on? And does this really affect like larger businesses? I always thought it kind of just affected the small business people. This program is for small to medium-sized businesses, and that is the bulk of business here in Peterborough. Mm-hmm. You have some alarming numbers about fraud incidents and what, you know, being it's not even being careless, it's about not being aware can happen to your business. Devastating numbers. Why don't you tell us a bit about that? The average cost of a fraud incident to a business is $97,000. It's a lot of money. And so while the best thing is to prevent it happening in the first place, you do really need a plan for recovery and business continuance in the event that it does happen. Okay, so it's kind of like setting away like a little nest egg just in case something terrible happens? A lot of that cost is recovery, and if you don't have the plan in place before the incident occurs, then it's going to cost you a lot more than if you were prepared. Okay. All right. What are some of the things that businesses should be keeping in mind, you know, just top of mind basic strategies? It's all about limiting your exposure, and that is really a 5-layered approach, and Amy Simpson and Microage is going to tell us about that. So you really need to have that plan in place and protect your data. Protect your data. Does it still come down to common sense, you know, that the person who might be sending your business an email offering you the deal of a lifetime, you know, watching out for people like that? That's a large part of it, making sure you don't open anything that you shouldn't be opening. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Yep. One of the ways that there were 2 local businesses who were stung was with a stolen credit card, and they ordered a large amount of stock, and they wanted next day delivery, and by the time it had all washed out, it was a fraudulent credit card transaction, and the business person had to eat it. So a large order with a very fast delivery or one of the red flags, are there other things that businesses can watch for? If it's a different shipping address to the billing address, that is a huge red flag. And what businesses need to do is to validate. So pick up the phone and call those numbers that are associated with those addresses. If those phone numbers aren't forthcoming, that's a huge red flag. It's not to say that these are fraudulent activities, but they're things that you absolutely need to protect yourself against. Absolutely. So if I'm a small business person right now watching this, how do I get involved in the seminar? It's September 22nd. It's 6:30. We've put that in the evening to encourage retailers to be able to attend. Good thinking. It's at the Market Hall. It's a 2-hour session, and there is lots of time included in that for Q&A. So if you have your own specific questions, there's probably a good chance that you can get it answered here. All right, well, connect with Karen and the team behind this fraud-proofing business seminar at the Peterborough Chamber of Commerce here in Peterborough. Thank you very much. Great information. I think businesses will really, really appreciate this. I hope so. Okay, everyone stick around. We've got the roundtable coming up after the break.